Okay, let's look at how to create this Lotus inspired building here. So we have two shapes. The roof, it forms the leaf shape, and then the cylindrical space forms the occupancy, like how we're actually going to use this building. So these are your AI images from Gemini, Nano Banana Pro, and they were pretty good. So I thought I would base it off of one of these. These are all basically the same component, this lower ring of leaves, the mid ring of leaves, and then the inverted ring of leaves in a dome. They're all made, or they could all be made the same way, which is to create this top leaf and then intersect the cylindrical shape with it. So we'll do that in Fusion first. I'll start in a new sketch, in a new document, and I'm going to do the line that follows the top ridge, just like this. The very first thing I need to do is decide what size one of these pieces is going to be for me. So if this is going to be 3D printed, it's going to need to be fairly small or a local scale. So figure out about how long this line needs to be for your application. I'll use a fit point spline to create that general curve. And I'm really only going to try to use 3 points, one at the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end there. Paying attention to how far I wanted this to go, and then the overall general shape of the top line here. Here I can see it kind of goes down just a little bit in this version, so I'll make mine go down. I can move this line a little bit and give it that shape. Okay, next is I finished that. I'm going to do a 3D sketch in the perpendicular view. So I'm going to go from the top down. Oops, sorry. On this plane, so the ground plane, there we go, it'll look like that. Now I can sketch on the plane perpendicular to this line, hiding the origin. I'm going to do just half of the side from this perspective, and what I'm doing here is how this ends at the ground. Actually, we can't see it in two of the three of these. Here we can see this one ends in a curve like this, but we can't see how the bottom main one ends. But I suspect, based on its overall shape and the fact that these lines will need to connect, that it's going to look something like, and I'll use just three points here, that, something like that. This gives me an impression as well. If I make it quite wide, then I end up with a wider cylindrical inside space. Maybe I'll make it a little bit wider. And again, for your application, you're going to want to figure out how wide you want to make it. Okay, with that complete, I need to work on this line, this edge, this roof edge line here. And that's going to involve me connecting this point from another sketch down to this point with a curve. I need to enable 3D sketching. And I'll use a fit point spline, connect it to the top point on our roof line, give it a middle point somewhere in 3D space, and then connect it with the bottom one. Okay, here's where it gets fun and tricky. This middle point will be a little bit random where it goes for you. So I need to use the M for move, and I'm just going to move it in two directions at once. So looking at it from the side view, I can move it back and down. And then looking at it from the top view, I can move it in and back. I can switch back to my image to see if my overall shape is reminiscent of what I wanted it to be. Okay. So I'll leave that there for now, and I can always go back and change it. I'll finish that sketch. And so it took 2 sketches to do this so far. One of these, this one is empty. So I'll just get rid of that one. Now we're going to create a surface by using the patch PATCH, and I'll patch these two together. This is half of my roof. The other half comes from mirroring it. I needed to enable the origin to mirror it. So I'm going to mirror this piece along this plane. There we go. So that's the shape of my roof line. Now this isn't 3D printable or manufacturable because it's just a surface and I need to actually give it thickness. So I will thicken it. I might stitch it together first actually because they're separate. Here they're separate. Oh, it's together. Okay, sorry. I will just thicken it. Back to thicken. If I can thicken both at the same time, that's great. If I have to do one and then the other, that's fine too. So I'll make mine 3 millimeters because my overall piece is pretty small. And then that's a pretty cool shape. So next is to create the circular shape for the interior space, and I'll do that in a new sketch on the ground plane. And at this point, I want to turn off 3D sketching. If this isn't enabled, just make sure you're not doing any sketching at the moment. Disable 3D sketching unless you need it. Okay, I want to draw a circle, probably not in the center of this piece, but a little offset. Because this shape is going to form my interior space right here. I want the circle to be in line with the center of the roof, so I'll use the horizontal vertical constraint and click on the center of the circle and click on the origin so that they are aligned with each other. Okay, great. So that's all I needed to do for this piece. Next is I will... Sometimes I could extrude this out and then cut it. I think I will give it a shot creating a smaller shape to extrude. So I will project this piece there, and then that should give me this intersected shape there. That's something that I can use to project, extrude. So E for extrude, and then I can go up. But this is a new body. There we go. So this is my interior space, occupancy space. This is my roof overhang, my decorative roof overhang. There we go. I need to get rid of the rest of this, so I need to use a splitting tool. Split body. And I want to split this body using this tool and extend it. And it's always helpful to open this folder so that we can see what we get. I get this, I'll just hide it here. I get that piece. But I have more to go. So I'll split body, I'll split this body, and now I'll split this face. There we go. Okay, I did it. So this remaining piece is my lotus leaf structure. I will combine this piece with this piece. There you go. So they're together. So this is the final shape that I want. And then these two I can actually just remove. And the surface I can remove as well. Not delete, but remove. Now, if I want to start to rotate this around a circle, what I would have to do is in a new sketch on the ground plane, I'm going to create an axis for rotation. So let's say I want it to rotate right around this axis. Finish sketch, circular pattern, and I can circular pattern this body around this circle. And in my example, I had 8. There we go. So I might be okay with them intersecting, or maybe I can change the position of this circle so that it's a little bit further. There we go. It's a little bit further from the center of what I'm rotating. I like that they overlap somewhat. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is my version of the outer rings of the lotus leaf. Creating the inner ring of leaves is the same procedure, but just a different shape. And then creating the innermost rings is creating these pieces, but with this curve ultimately facing the other way. Okay, so good luck with that design challenge. I hope that helps.